possible that the Atlanta Falcons are ready to make a big move? Welcome into Falcons Today by Chat Sports. My name is Moose. Well, their most recent indication on the breaking news front might indicate that, hey, the Falcons might be interested in adding another weapon. Oh my God, it's almost like we've been saying that for the last, 3 to 4 weeks? Well, the Falcons held out tryouts for wide receivers KJ Hamler, no-namer, Julian Hicks, no-namer, Jalen Reagor, namer, on Tuesday. Also, quarterback Tanner Mordecai had a tryout as well. So it's clear that Easton Stick probably isn't progressing as quickly as we thought. Reagor is a former first-round pick, by the way, selected 21st overall in 2020 by the Philadelphia Eagles. So are the Falcons gearing up to make a move? If they do, it'll be Jalen Reagor. The other guys, I don't see them signing at all. But we can at least briefly mention where these players most recently come from. KJ Hamler from the Buffalo Bills, Julian Hicks from the Green Bay Packers, and Jalen Reagor has not had a team in I don't know how many years, but he's definitely the most talented of the bunch. So we're going to primarily focus and deep dive on Jalen Reagor rather than the other two guys. But he last played in 2024 for the Los Angeles Chargers, and he's not a player that has even remotely lived up to the hype of being a first-round pick. In fact, his numbers, yikes. For a guy that's played in 4 seasons, 2020, 21, 22, 5 seasons, excuse me, he only has 86 receptions for a little over 1,000 yards and 4 touchdowns. However, it is another body. It is another wide receiver, and the Atlanta Falcons are starving for it. He's a speedier guy, can stretch the field a little bit, doesn't have really great hands. That's a notable thing. He drops the ball quite a bit, but I'm going to be completely honest with you. If the Falcons went out and signed Jalen Reagor, I honestly wouldn't hate it, considering I've been the one saying they need to get another wide receiver. However, there's still a big looming question. Man, how bad are Chris Blair, Nick Nash, and Dylan Drummond? These Falcons practice squad wide receivers must suck if they can't even get elevated. I say that tongue-in-cheek. I don't think they suck. I think Raheem and Zach have no idea what they're doing. Like, you've got 3 players currently on your practice squad that are just kind of like, can we get some reps here? Can we get some action? Nick Nash especially, man. Like, this was a guy that owned college football. Granted, at San Jose State. But he was still awesome. Dylan Drummond had a pretty decent preseason. Chris Blair had an amazing preseason. Why not give these guys a shot? It's almost as if Zach Robinson and Raheem Morris don't know what they're doing. Shocker. So what should the Falcons do at wide receiver? Should they sign someone or should they elevate someone? I'm typing my E for elevate. I would rather elevate Nick Nash and Chris Blair than I would sign Jalen Reagor. But you let me know in the comment section down below. If you're watching during our live show, get down in the live chat right now and let me know. Coming up next, we do have some great news on Divine Deablo, and I think you're going to like this because we should see him sooner rather than later, according to Raheem Morris. Before I do that, got to tell you about my friends over at Prize Picks. The weather might be changing, but the feeling of being right never gets old. That's why you need to download the Prize Picks app today and get $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. Did you know that you can now follow other Prize Picks players directly on the app and copy their lineups in just one click, whether it's a friend, a celebrity partner, or just someone whose picks you like producer Alper? Hit the follow button and check out every lineup they create in the brand new feed tab over on Prize Picks. It takes 30 seconds to make a lineup. Very easy. You pick the player, the more or less on their stat projections, and then you watch your money multiply up to 2,000 times your cash this football and basketball season on Prize Picks. Just download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It is good to be right. Good news. You could see Divine Deablo as quickly as next week. Not this week against the Carolina Panthers, but next week against the... Oh, shit, I'm drawing a blank. Who do we play in Week 12? I'll come back to it. Divine Deablo has been amazing, though. Back to the original point. He's been great. He's been the best free agent pickup that we've had. Not even close. It's the Saints. That's who it is. I remember now. My apologies. 24 tackles, 1 for loss, a PFF grade of 86, and a coverage grade of 78.6. I hope he remains a Falcon for a long time. I think he's been excellent. And if it weren't for the time he spent with the Las Vegas Raiders where he just kind of faded back into mediocrity, I would be like super hesitant to sign him. And then he came to Atlanta, and I'm like, where did this guy come from? He was honestly playing like a top 10 middle linebacker for the longest time this season. He was excellent. Back in coverage, surveying the middle of the field, playing at the line of scrimmage. He was serving, like, his eyes never left the quarterback. He was the ultimate communicator and green dot linebacker. He was awesome. Awesome. And then he gets hurt. And then his replacement comes in. And as much as I love my Notre Dame guys, J.D. Bertrand sucks. Wait, Moose, didn't he have an awesome play against the Colts? Yeah, he did. One great play where he had a 4th down stop. Outside of that, he gets bullied in pass coverage. He has no idea where he's going. He's too small. He's not fast enough. It just doesn't look like he's playing the same game at all. He could be a special teams player. I'm fine with that. But he's not a rotational or starting caliber inside linebacker. And honestly, if we get Troy Anderson back at some point ever, I think Troy Anderson and Divine Deablo have to remain your interior linebackers. You move Caden Ellis up to be a pass rusher. The big 3, Jalen Walker, James Pierce Jr., Caden Ellis. I think it goes ballistic, bazooka-y, if you will. It's not even a real word. I just made it up. Now, I also believe that coming up, you can play spoiler this Sunday. We clearly see that the Carolina Panthers, they're a bit hit and miss right now, don't you think? I mean, they go out and they beat the Green Bay Packers, which is outstanding, and then they lose to the Aints. It's just weird. It's a very weird season for them. I'm not quite sure how to define that team. I do know this. He got blown out by them on the road, 30-0 in week 3. That's terrible. Now you get to right the wrong. You need to go out and fire on all cylinders. Even if the Falcons win this game, I'm not going to be the one that says, keep everybody, because I still think the writing is on the wall. But my God, would it feel good to get back into the W column. I also know that the Carolina Panthers are going to run the football at you nonstop. I wouldn't be surprised if they had 35 rushing attempts this coming game. Bryce Young, he's booty cheeks. Mega stinky ass booty cheeks. But that running attack with Rico Dowdle, that's pretty good. And the reason I say spoiler is because the playoffs, they feel like a pipe dream at this point. Hell, I don't think any Falcons fan right now feels like the Falcons, the Dirty Birds, could make the playoffs. Not with the current state of the coaching right now. Not with the nonstop poor mismanaging of the game, poor mismanaging of the clock, and just overall lackluster play that we've seen the last couple of weeks. It's been awful. You got blown out by one of the worst teams in the NFL in the Miami Dolphins. That was what started it. Started it. Take 2. So I'm watching for a different reason now. The rest of the year, my job is, yes, to root for the Atlanta Falcons, but it's also a 3-step process. Here's what I'm looking forward to and what you should be looking forward to as the season progresses. First, the continued dominance of the pass rush. Jalen Walker, James Pierce Jr., Caden Ellis, Leonard Floyd, David Onyemata, Zach Harrison. How do all of these guys continue to look? Jeff Ulbrich came out today and said this was the best practice the defense has had the entire season. That's good news. That's really great stuff. Second, kind of bleeding into the same way, but also adding a couple of other things in. The development of the rookies. Billy Bowman Jr., Xavier Watts, we've seen amazing things from them so far throughout their tenure as Atlanta Falcons and as NFL players. So can we monitor Walker, Pierce, Bowman, Watts? Jack Nelson still needs a lot of time, but he's not playing, so it doesn't really matter at this point. But can you monitor these rookies and just gear up for next year, year 2 in the system? And I think you absolutely can. And third and finally, the Michael Penix Jr. progression. The quarterback is the ultimate player on this team. It's a 2025 league. everybody knows that no matter what happens, the quarterback outside of the coaching staff is going to take the most heat. All eyes are on Michael Penix Jr. from every Dirty Birds fan. We're all wondering, can he be the franchise guy? Can he be the future? And I think right now, from a clean pocket perspective, from an arm talent perspective, in the sense of velocity, arm angles, yes, he can. He's got to get way better against the blitz. Way better. And then Raheem Morris said something, again, shockingly crazy. He said that he chose to have a talk with Michael Penix Jr. about learning how to better manage his emotions. What? He said, you can't have regular relationships and expect to do extraordinary things. What are you talking about? What does that have to do with anything? MPJ is a competitor. He wants to win football games. He's going to have wild emotions because he wants to win. You know who's the only person that anybody's ever complained about their lack of emotion? You. You're the only one that doesn't show fire on this team. It's almost like you're just content playing football games and coaching football games, if that's what you want to call it. So maybe you could learn a little something from your quarterback, Raheem. Maybe have a little bit more fire. Have a little more intensity. Maybe don't manage your emotions nearly enough. Maybe get into the locker room and inspire some damn fire. Yell at your players. They're grown men. They can handle it. What are we talking about? My producer, who has no knowledge of the inner workings of the Atlanta Falcons, is shaking his head. Because he knows it sounds ridiculous. It sounds ludicrous. Do you know who the Patriots, by the way, have as their head coach? A no bullshit, no tolerance head coach. He calls players out. He calls himself out. That's why they're 8-2. That's how I'm going to end today's show. I think it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Rise up, Dirty Birds fans, and be cool.